Paltrocast.
Hey, Justin, can you hear me okay?
Man, how are you doing? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. You look good. You sound good. How's your day going?
My day is going absolutely well. I've been up early, got up at 4 o'clock this morning, but it's all good.
Well, I'm glad to have some time with you today. Of course, as a Super Bowl participant in the past, of course, people are going to ask you for the next 5 days what you thought of the Super Bowl. So what do you think?
You know, I thought it was actually a good Super Bowl. I know people wanted to see more points. Clearly, you know, all the hype. It was, you know, hey, you got Patrick Mahomes, Brady. You thought it was going to be a lot of points scoring, but from a professional athlete standpoint, I thought that defense of Tampa Bay just did a phenomenal job. You have to give credit where credit is due. So I appreciated watching a defense play so well.
Yeah.
And you know, you got to give your hats off to Tom Brady and that Cinderella story. So, you know, hats off to the Bucks.
He needed another ring very desperately. So
yeah.
I'm glad he got it.
Exactly.
When I was growing up as a massive NFL fan, it seemed like the goal was for the rest of your life to be an NFL player, thought of as an NFL player. And it seems like every time I interview somebody that came out of the NFL in the last 15 years, they went, no, my goal is to be an entrepreneur and have things going so that maybe you talk a little bit about my football career, but it's about what I'm doing now. And you kind of follow that because you got a coffee company. Were you drinking coffee back in your football days?
So interesting story. That's when I actually started drinking coffee. I caught myself dozing off in the meetings, and Marshall Falk came in one day. He said, "Bruh, you got to drink some coffee because you can't be going to sleep in these meetings." So he actually got me hooked on coffee to stop me from falling asleep in the meetings because, you know, the days run long, you're tired from practice, you're nodding off. Coaches don't want to see you nodding off, so he was handing me cups of coffee.
Well, what was your gateway in terms of coffee? I'll admit it. Now I drink my coffee black most of the time, but I needed kind of those lattes and the sweet stuff to be the gateway before I could become a real coffee drinker. What about you?
So, well, early on, it was I needed some cream and sugar to put in my coffee. And then now I drink my coffee just black. And that's one thing I love about our brand and our coffee in particular is that you don't need to put all those additives in it because you can actually taste the notes that are in coffee. A lot of people know that coffee really derived from a berry, so it's really a cherry, and so it should have those fruitful notes. But people miss that with all this corporate coffee, and they just, you know, they over roast it. And you really don't ever get a chance to really taste the true flavor of coffee. So now I'm just a fan of drinking the coffee black and really letting those notes sit on my palate.
How long was it from having the concept to do a coffee company to having the brand, the name, the logo, and all that?
So funny enough, it was just by happenstance. June 18th, we came up with the idea. I was sitting in the backyard having a barbecue with Kevin Garnett. He and I were talking about coffee and we talked about some of the incident that happened in Minnesota in particular when the guys got kicked out of Starbucks. And, you know, he said, man, we should have our own coffee company. And that next day, which was Juneteenth, I put together a group of guys and we got into a boardroom and we started discussing the idea and the ideation of what is now BLQK Coffee. It went through a lot of different waves, from people to even the name itself. You know, we wanted to first call it black coffee and spell it a certain way, but then we're diving into what we can use. And then we took it to a creative team and they just loved the look of the BLQK. And now the acronym is I'm building legacies for our queens and kings. So everything just changed up a little bit. And here we are, 6 months later, you know, we launched.
Quick growth, to say the least. Did you know outright, besides having the great product that's ethically sourced, that the charity component was going to be the big part of it too?
Well, initially we just wanted to, we talked about brick and mortar, and we talked about a place that was welcoming to all, and taking the guy that used to play the guitar on the street and clean them up and bring them inside, and having a place where you can have meaningful conversations over cups of coffee, and how we can use that as a vessel to actually to help marginalized communities, right, through educational injustices that are out there and things like that. So it was always a part of the plan to let coffee be the vessel to help us to help our communities and give back. And that's why we're donating 25% of our profits into these marginalized communities and social injustices and education injustice and food justice. And with the food justice part, that's why the coffee's so good. So I want to stop people from putting all these additives in their coffee by drinking our coffee. So it was definitely part of the plan.
Right. Without naming names here, a lot of coffee companies start off as a coffee company, and then they start to do other things. They go, oh, okay, we could do protein bars, or we could do sandwiches. Is that the grand scale of it all for you? Like, hey, we got this great brand, we can do BLQK sandwiches, or is really coffee the end game?
Coffee is not the end game, actually. I expect that we're going to have BLQK water that you want to put in your use for your coffee making. We want to build a company that we're doing things right from the ground up. So with that being said, even when we hired for our web design team, we said, hey, do you have any Black staff that on your team? And the answer was no. So we said, hey, would you consider hiring one to help you through the process? And the answer was yes. So we hired that firm to do our beautiful website, and we actually got, we had her employ a Black employee. So we wanted to move the needle from the concept and the creation of our company. So I look at this like the Procter & Gamble, like we're just going to keep moving on, and as in football.
And then what I was saying before about football in general, the way that you're building this is kind of like, in 2 years from now, people are going to go, oh, Justin played football? I didn't know that. I think of him as the coffee guy. Is that something that you're happy about, something that you're ultimately working towards?
You know what? I'm kind of a guy that just likes to let things happen naturally. Whatever it is, it is. I never worried about anybody, and what being a football guy, number one. I think it's, for me, it's really about it's more about your character and who you are as a person and what you're doing in the communities and what you're doing for other people. So I've always just wanted to kind of be me and let whatever follows me or whatever I represent just kind of be exactly that. So I want to be a representation of good character and someone that's helping push the needle, and helping our kids with better education. Mm-hmm. And just, I'm all about moving the needle forward. These rings, I'll always have them.
Yeah.
So these will always be, my pride and joy. I can throw these on anytime. Someone can say, hey, what is that? And I can say, hey, it's a Super Bowl championship ring. And this one here is when Tom Brady actually won his first Super Bowl championship. So, here's the start to finish. It's all good.
That makes sense to me. Is the NFL a big part of your life still? In other words, do you still socialize with a lot of people from your football days?
So great question, because and people ask me this same question all the time, and I can literally pick up my phone and I show them a thread with all our cronies from when we played. Yeah. This is 20 years later. So on a thread up until really yesterday, of course, and even this morning, Orlando Pace, Marshall, Kurt Warner, Torrey Holt, Oz Hakeem, Isaac Bruce, London Fletcher. We're on a thread together, and we speak literally 2 to 3 to 4 times a week. If it's anybody's birthday, happy birthday. I mean, even Coach Marks is on that same thread. So we have a unique, just a very special, unique Rams family. We've never lost it. It is phenomenal that we literally keep in touch I don't think there's been a week where a message is not sent between our threads. So it's awesome.
That's wonderful to hear without naming who it is. Rams player I interviewed a couple of months ago who's transitioned into music. Anytime you ask him an NFL question, he just cringes and just, that's my past. This is what I do now. So it's always wonderful to get the other side of it where people have bonds for life because of a career they had in their 20s.
Absolutely. So yeah, we've created this special bond, and I don't think anything can break it. I mean, it's been, it's not just, this has been going on for years where we literally talk, every week there's a message, and we support each other. We got a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame. So every year we go back and celebrate whoever's being inducted. Like this year is Isaac Bruce. So I have my BLQK coffee bags, and I have them on the plane to bring them to all the guys. So everyone wants to know what everyone's doing. So yeah, it's a tight-knit family, and I love all parts of my history and my life with these guys, especially achieving one of the greatest accomplishments of all time, which is that Super Bowl championship.
Of course. Having a growing startup company is enough for most people. A family and the startup is enough for most people. The threads you're talking about in the family and the startup, that's enough for just about anyone. But is there life for you outside of football, family, and the startup?
There is life. I'm an avid golfer. So golf is a definite passion. I have my time on a golf course that I thoroughly enjoy. I actually own another company, two other companies actually. So my hands are full. I have an athletic club and a luxury transportation company. So it's my hands are full with Matt Black Luxury, and so 3 companies and a father of 2, a husband. It's all good, but I can rest later. Right now it's time to stay on.
Well, did that entrepreneurial spirit have a place in you when you were playing in football, or is it that you knew that the days were ending of football and you said, I got to do something or else I'm going to be home and bored?
I always knew playing that there was going to be life after football. And that's one of the things that, a lot of kids that are playing now, a lot of parents want their kids to understand that there's more to life than just that spurt of, or that stint of a football experience. So my mindset was always, there's going to be something I have to do after. And I wanted to lead the charge for the rest of my teammates to know that, hey, as soon as this is over with, I'm getting into something. I'm getting into my entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm driving the ball. And, it doesn't stop with sports. That's only a short stint, other than like a guy like Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
So it was always my goal and my outlook that I was going to have to do more than just football. It was going to be an after sports career.
Makes sense to me. Well, I got 2 quick questions for you, and then you're a free man. And the first one has nothing to do with anything we've spoken about. And that question is, what are you watching on TV that you could recommend to somebody who needs a new show to binge or get into?
I love Power. I'm a Power fan. The unfortunate thing is they play a couple episodes and then it's gone for like 3 or 4 months. And I just wish I can get a little bit more. So other than that, I go to Netflix and I just watched what's the show with the guy? Oh gosh, it's slipping my mind. It's hurting. Lupin. Love that little show there, Lupin. It's a great show. So that's been the latest thing that I've watched since Power is off. But I get on Netflix and I just click away and find something special, or at least try to.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it's not 90 Day Fiance or something like that.
No.
If you were to say all this intelligent stuff and they go, well, my favorite show is 90 Day Fiance, which has happened in a number of interviews I've done recently, where people say this mind-blowing stuff and then they watch the worst show ever. So not That's you. Exactly. And my closing question for you, as somebody who I think made it, not just having the businesses, not just winning the Super Bowl, but you seem like you've got stuff figured out. And that's intended to be a compliment. And that is, any last words for the kids?
Oh, for the kids, I will say this. Number one, if there's anything that you're really passionate about, I don't care what it is, that's what you need to really focus on. That's what you need to be doing. And always know that everything is possible. I mean, my biggest takeaway is everything is possible. There's nothing that you can't do out there. If you put your mind to it, you can achieve it. And you can't do anything without hard work. Mm-hmm. But that's why you do pick something that you're passionate about, because if you're passionate about it, it won't feel like hard work. You'll love the work you're doing. So just be passionate and dedicated to whatever it is that you do.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time, and look forward to seeing what's next from the brand. Again, Justin, you've got it figured out. So please give some of that charisma to other people while you can.
I appreciate that. And for all your listeners or viewers out there, if they want to log on to BLQK.Coffee, and they can use let's use a little code for a discount. We'll call it, and we're going to put it in the system now, Hype BLQK. How about that? So Hype BLQK.
We will put it in the article and the copy and all that kind of stuff. So looking forward to seeing what's next, and have a great rest of the day, and hope you get some sleep soon, man.
Thank you. You too.
Hey, take care, Justin.
Take care.
Paltrocast.